Sister Wives, Janelle reveals why Maddie hid her third pregnancy from Kody Brown, inside the estrangement, hurt, and silent walls between father and daughter. On the November 3rd episode of Sister Wives, Janelle Brown revealed why her daughter, Maddie Brush, chose not to inform her father, Kody Brown, about her third pregnancy. The confession didn't come with dramatic shouting or a sudden blow-up, it arrived softly, threaded with years of distance, disappointment, and emotional silence. Janelle's words didn't just reveal a single moment of miscommunication. They peeled back the curtain on a much deeper issue, the ongoing collapse of connection between Kody and his adult children, especially those he shares with Janelle. For many fans, the question isn't just why Maddie didn't tell him. It's what that silence says about how far the Brown family has fallen from its once unified dream. 1. The moment that broke the internet, the kids are all feeling very estranged from you. In the most recent episode, Kody Brown and Janelle convened for a tranquil conversation about their future plans. Janelle, now separated from Kody, shared that she was considering moving closer to their daughter, Maddie, to be nearer to her grandchildren. Kody's response seemed innocent enough at first, a father's confusion surfacing through his frustration. "Why didn't she call me to tell me she was having a baby?" he asked. Janelle's answer landed like a quiet thunderclap. "The kids are all feeling very estranged from you." That line echoed beyond the living room, reverberating through the Sister Wives fandom. It wasn't just a daughter's distance, it was the collective disconnection of an entire branch of Kody's family tree. 2. Maddie's perspective, the silent withdrawal of a daughter. In her confessional, Janelle explained the heart of the issue. Maddie didn't call her father because she felt it wouldn't matter, it wasn't out of malice. "Maddie has observed to me that Kody has not been out to see her kids since Evie was born, and Evie has 3, Janelle revealed. Maddie's like, why would I tell him that I'm having another one? He hasn't really shown that much interest in the other 2. That statement, though simple, cut deep. For Maddie, the act of withholding news wasn't a weapon, it was a resignation. A quiet acknowledgement that her relationship with her father had already faded into formality. Maddie, who lives in North Carolina with her husband, Caleb Brush, and their 3 children, Axel, Evie, and baby Josephine, has long been viewed as one of the calmer, more grounded members of the Brown family. However, Maddie's choice to conceal a significant life event from her father illustrates the erosion of trust and effort over time. 3. Kody's confusion, "I'm missing something here." Returning to the scene, Kody's response exposed the increasing emotional detachment that fans have become aware of over the past few seasons. "She's talking like I've done some kind of evil to them. I'm missing something here," he said, looking genuinely perplexed. To Kody, the accusation didn't match his memory of events. He often frames the estrangement as something done to him rather than a result of his choices, a recurring theme since his separation from Janelle and Christine. His confusion may seem disingenuous to viewers who've watched years of disconnect unfold, but it also reflects a man unable, or unwilling, to grasp how his behavior is perceived by those he's hurt. Kody often interprets distance as rebellion or punishment, rather than emotional withdrawal born of exhaustion. 4. A history of emotional drift, from family unity to fracture. The Browns' family structure was once the foundation of their reality show, 4 wives, 18 children, and a shared belief in plural love and cooperation. But over the last decade, that ideal gradually crumbled. Christine left first, followed by Janelle's quiet departure and Meri's eventual release. Only Robyn remains in what's now essentially a monogamous marriage with Kody. When Christine walked away, she took with her not just her independence but also much of the emotional gravity that had held the family together. Janelle soon followed, finding her strength in independence. But the children, particularly those from Kody's earlier marriages, bore the invisible cost. In Janelle's words and Maddie's silence, the family's fracture becomes generational. It's no longer just about which wife gets attention, it's about which child feels seen. 5. The roots of Maddie's disconnection. For years, Maddie was close to both of her parents. As the oldest daughter of Janelle and Kody, she grew up navigating the complexities of plural living. When the family lived in Utah and later Las Vegas, Maddie often acted as a bridge between her siblings from different mothers. But fans began noticing a change in Maddie's tone during interviews and social media interactions over the last few years. She's been polite but reserved when discussing her father. Her focus has shifted entirely to her husband, her faith, and her children, far from the polygamous world she was raised in. The distance appears to have begun when Kody started prioritizing his relationship with Robyn and their younger children, especially during the pandemic. Maddie, like her brothers Gabriel and Garrison, reportedly felt overlooked and undervalued. When she became pregnant with her 3rd child, it wasn't rebellion, it was indifference. She didn't tell Kody because the emotional bridge had already burned down years earlier. 6. Janelle's role, the honest mediator. Janelle Brown has become the quiet truth-teller of sister wives. Her ability to calmly articulate complex family issues has made her one of the most respected figures on the show. In this episode, her conversation with Kody highlighted her balance between compassion and honesty. She didn't lash out or defend Maddie out of anger, she simply named what was true. "The kids are all feeling very estranged from you." Those words weren't just about Maddie, they were about Gabriel, Garrison, and others who have drifted from their father since his marriage with Robyn became his primary focus. Janelle has frequently acted as a mediator, urging Kody to reach out and reconcile. But even she seems tired now, weary of explaining to him why his children have emotionally withdrawn. 7. Kody's narrative, "They're purposefully leaving me out." Later in the episode, during a tense exchange with his only remaining wife, Robyn Brown, Kody vented about the situation. "You saw Madison take her kids and scuttle them away from me. She never told me she was pregnant. She never told me she was going to have a baby," he said. "They're purposefully leaving me out of their lives to punish me for a crime I didn't commit. I am only guilty of failing to fall madly in love with their mothers." This statement encapsulates Kody's long-standing defensiveness. He views estrangement as deliberate punishment rather than the organic outcome of years of emotional neglect. When Robyn gently asked, "Couldn't you, reach out to her?" Kody doubled down. "Every time I talk to her, she spreads gossip about me to the rest of the family," he claimed. That defensiveness is both his shield and his prison. It keeps him from confronting the truth. His children's distance isn't revenge, it's self-protection. 8. The emotional geometry of estrangement. In many ways, the Brown story mirrors countless estranged family dynamics. Children grow up craving connection with parents who are present but emotionally inconsistent. Over time, when the inconsistency hardens into indifference, they stop reaching out. Maddie decided to not tell Kody over time. It was likely the culmination of countless small disappointments, phone calls not returned, birthdays skipped, visits promised but never made. When Kody says he's missing something, he's missing the accumulation of those micro-wounds. Estrangement rarely explodes, it erodes. By the time the silence arrives, it's already been years in the making. 9. Robyn's place in the middle. Robyn Brown, who is often perceived as Kody's favorite wife, has faced significant criticism from both fans and family members. While some see her as manipulative, others recognize that she's also trapped in a dynamic she didn't entirely create. In this episode, her attempt to mediate between Kody and Maddie fell flat. She asked him to reach out, to take the first step, but Kody's resentment over being left out overpowered any sense of accountability. Robyn often functions as both Kody's defender and his mirror. She reflects back his pain but sometimes reinforces his victim narrative rather than challenging it. Her question, "Couldn't you, reach out to her?" was small but crucial. It showed that even she recognizes the growing chasm between Kody and his older children. But like everyone else, she's caught in the inertia of his pride. 10. Janelle's view of moving forward. Janelle's decision to move closer to Maddie isn't just about geography. It's about emotional proximity. It's about aligning herself with the people who still bring her joy and purpose. Since her separation from Kody, Janelle has built a life rooted in independence and family connection, especially with her kids and grandkids. Her relationship with Maddie and her other children remains strong because she's present. She shows up. By contrast, Kody's relationships with his adult children have withered as his focus narrowed to Robyn and their younger kids. In one sense, Janelle's move is symbolic. She's not only physically stepping closer to Maddie but also emotionally stepping further from the dysfunction that once defined her marriage. 11. The larger family pattern, "Dad said he didn't love you." The most chilling revelation came when Kody claimed Maddie had called her mother, saying, "Dad said he didn't love you." That moment crystallizes the emotional divide. Whether or not Kody truly said those words, Maddie's perception of them reflects how deep the wounds run. If Maddie genuinely believes her father never loved her mother, it explains why she's detached from him. It's not just neglect she's reacting to, it's the dismantling of her entire understanding of family love and loyalty. In Janelle's household, love was supposed to be mutual, stable, and respectful. When that illusion shattered, Maddie stopped expecting warmth from her father altogether. 12. Fan reactions, sympathy for Janelle and Maddie. After the episode aired, social media lit up with reactions. Fans overwhelmingly sided with Maddie and Janelle, calling Kody out for his self-pity and lack of accountability. One fan wrote, "Maddie didn't tell Kody about the baby because she stopped waiting for him to care. That's what happens when you only show up for one part of your family." Another added, "Kody's so busy blaming everyone for abandoning him that he doesn't realize he built the distance himself." Viewers have grown increasingly protective of the adult children, especially after watching how Kody handled his sons Gabriel and Garrison during the pandemic. Many now see Maddie's silence not as cruelty but as emotional survival. 13. The symbolism of Josephine's birth. Maddie and Caleb's third child, Josephine Lee Brush, was born in early 2023, a new life marking another generation in the Brown family. Yet the fact that her grandfather was absent from that joy tells a deeper story about legacy. For most parents, the birth of a new grandchild rekindles connection. For Kody, it underscored how isolated he's become. The Browns' polygamous dream was meant to multiply love, to expand it beyond traditional limits. Instead, the distance is multiplied. Josephine's birth could have been a bridge. Instead, it became another line of separation. 14. The father who waits for calls that never come. Kody's sadness is real, even if it's misdirected. His sense of loss, watching his adult children drift away, carries a weight that even his critics can feel. But grief without reflection turns into blame. When he says, "They're purposefully leaving me out," what he really means is, "I don't know how to get back in." He's waiting for phone calls from children who've stopped dialing because they learned those calls go unanswered. He's still trying to be the center of a family that's chosen to orbit elsewhere. The tragedy isn't just the silence, it's that he doesn't see how he built it. 15. Janelle's grace amid the wreckage. What makes Janelle's perspective stand out is her refusal to fuel bitterness. She doesn't gloat, doesn't scold. She simply states what's true and lets Kody sit in it. When she told him Maddie felt estranged, it wasn't a jab, it was a gift. A chance for him to see reality without spin. Janelle's strength lies in her calm detachment. She's moved beyond the need to convince Kody of her worth or her children's feelings. Instead, she focuses on nurturing the family bonds that still work, especially with her kids. In many ways, she's the emotional adult in a dynamic where Kody still behaves like the wounded child. 16. The larger lesson, when parents stop earning access. Maddie's silence isn't unique. In many fractured families, adult children stop sharing milestones when they feel their parents no longer earn access to their inner lives. Birth announcements, weddings, graduations, all become private events when emotional safety disappears. For Kody, rebuilding that access would require humility, a willingness to listen without defending. But the show continues to portray him as trapped in a loop of resentment and denial. Until he breaks that cycle, moments like Maddie's hidden pregnancy will keep repeating in different forms. 17. Could reconciliation still happen? There's always a chance for healing, but it would have to start with Kody, not his children. If he were to genuinely reach out to Maddie, without expectation or ego, he might still find a way back into her life. But that would mean acknowledging how his actions, prioritizing one household, neglecting visits, refusing accountability, contributed to the rift. Whether he's ready for that level of honesty remains uncertain. So far, his confessional tone suggests he still sees himself as the victim of others' disrespect. But Sister Wives has always been a story of evolution, and sometimes, evolution requires collapse first. 18. The quiet strength of the daughters. Maddie's generation of Brown women, including Aspen, Mykelti, and Isabel, have shown remarkable emotional intelligence. They've navigated the fallout of their parents' decisions with grace, focusing on creating stable, healthy homes of their own. Maddie's silence toward her father isn't vindictive, it's protective. She's choosing peace over conflict, stability over emotional chaos. In that sense, she's breaking the cycle, not continuing it. 19. What this means for the future of Sister Wives. The series has shifted dramatically from its original premise. What began as a portrait of cooperative plural marriage has become a raw documentary about emotional survival after idealism dies. This latest revelation, Maddie hiding her pregnancy, pushes the narrative deeper into that territory. It's no longer about who's married to whom, but who still cares enough to stay connected. For viewers, this evolution has been bittersweet. The Browns were once a symbol of unconventional unity, now they're a study in human fragility. But that honesty is what keeps Sister Wives compelling. The facade has fallen, and what's left is the truth, messy, painful, but real. 20. The final image, silence as an answer. By the end of the episode, Kody was still struggling to make sense of it all. Janelle's words lingered, but his confusion seemed to overshadow any real introspection. Maddie didn't need to shout, confront, or explain. Her silence was her statement. Her absence served as her boundary. And maybe that's the quiet tragedy of Sister Wives now, love expressed through distance, connection replaced by memory. Kody Brown once dreamed of a sprawling family bound by faith and unity. Instead, he's left with echoes, a father surrounded by silence, still waiting for calls that may never come. You are welcome to share any video requests in the comments. I will make a video about it. Stay connected with the Wives Union for all the latest updates, spoilers, and deep dive recaps. See you in the next video. Stay safe and healthy. May God keep you safe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell button for daily updates.